Hello everybody, and welcome to another installment of Behind the Jersey. I'm Galen Parker and I work for the Dickinson Press. As another form of introduction, I just want to let everybody know what we're up to here. We're trying to introduce you to the athletes over here at DSU. The folks over here with the Blue Hawks have been nice enough to make sure that we have access to them so you can get to meet them in exactly the same way we do. We get a chance to see them after games. We get a chance to see them on the field as well, but our interaction with them is much more personal, and so should it be with you all. So we're here right now with Cassidy Venner. Proper pronunciation.
Yep.
Cassidy, you are from Billings Senior High School in Montana, but most importantly, you are a softball player, and you guys are off to a really good start. And even more important than that, you are a senior. What do you think about the way the season has started so far and the way the team is coming together at this early stage? Admittedly, there's still snow on the ground outside, and you've been able to do just practices in here and so on and so forth. But what are your thoughts on the season so far?
Yeah, I mean, last weekend we were off to a really good start. Played some really good innings, had good moments. It was kind of nice to see some of the things we've done in the gym here and a couple days outside are kind of coming together. So it's been nice to see that. Like, all cylinders are kind of starting to fire. I mean, we hit pretty well. Pitching was on, defense. I mean, everything you kind of need to do to win a softball game, we were kind of putting it all together, so that was good to see.
Y'all were over there in the bubble, right?
Yeah.
I would think that would be really cool. Was it cool?
You know, it is. It's nice to get some games in for sure. It is a little tricky. It can kind of get dark in there. We played a game at like 5:30 Central Time, I want to say, on that Friday night, and you can tell when it's getting dark outside because that natural light is not beaming through.
Right.
And as an outfielder too, like if I get a pop fly, I really gotta get my grounding and make sure I'm tracking that thing because it can be tricky, but it is kind of cool. It's totally different. It is a different game. I mean, we're on turf, which is kind of nice, but yeah, it's good. It's nice to get some games in there for sure.
Well, you guys play on turf over here.
Yes.
And so I was just asking Cooper a little while ago about his approach and how he's looking at the upcoming softball season and whether or not you guys just kind of sit there and stare at Sanford Ballpark and you're just like, man, I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, being on turf, it's nice. You get those natural hops. You don't have to really second guess whether or not the ball's going to snake through you, that kind of thing.
Right.
It just kind of feels better. I mean, it feels better on your body too, and we're very blessed to have that complex over there. And yeah, like I said, we're very much blessed. So.
Well, it comes as an interesting component too, that you've had that ballpark built in the time that you've been here. That is a new presentation and a new construction during even your time here in this community, right?
Yes. We played at North Complex my freshman and sophomore year, and then introduced to the Sanford Sports Complex my junior year. And can't lie, ever since being on turf, we haven't really looked back. But hate to say it, but yeah, it's been a blessing for sure. So yeah.
Well, the folks who are here in this town, and I've found this almost across the board, them being as welcoming as they are, and I've probably said this 1,000 times if I've said it once, the kind of facilities they have here are just remarkable for the size of this community.
Yeah.
And the way that they embrace sports and the way that they encourage athletes, male or female, to be part of sports, I would think would be something that would have probably brought you here. What is it that actually did bring you here from over in Billings?
Truthfully, the community, like that person-to-person feel. I mean, you are somebody here, not just an athlete, but you are an individual in the classroom or outside of the community. Like, they make you feel welcomed and wanted here in Dickinson. So that's why it's really hard. I mean, as my chapter kind of comes to an end here, it's hard whether or not I want to decide if I'm going to stay here or go back to Billings, whatever that kind of rolls my way. But yeah, it's more just the people. That's what keeps you here for sure. I would say.
Yeah, and I would think too, if you said that you've actually moved on and you've already graduated from school, and so you're moving on to your master's program, it might give you the opportunity to stick around in this area and stay part of the community for the foreseeable future until you get your feet underneath you and figure out where you want to go.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, kind of right now I'm in a graduate program, sports administration, so after that, kind of hoping to get a PE job somewhere, kind of looking within the next few months here. Just kind of open to anywhere right now, but yeah, just kind of what it's ended up to be right now. Yeah.
Now you're an outfielder, and you mentioned, of course, the turf and all that kind of stuff, and being able to play. No funny hops and all that kind of thing. The facility's fantastic. But as I look at your records over the last 4 years, as we talked about before this particular show started, Over the last 3 years, you go back to your freshman year, you guys 26 and 24, 25 and 25, or excuse me, backwards. And you guys in 21 and 26 in 2001, 21, 22, 25 and 25 the following year, your sophomore year. And then last year, 26 and 24. And I said before we started the show, that it feels like you guys are on the verge of something. It feels like you guys are headed to some good things this year. Is that the way you feel?
I hope so, yeah. I mean, I think we're really pointing in the right direction. Just kind of getting to work, putting our heads down here and just kind of grinding. You know, we always see the end goal, but our main goal is to kind of peak in May at the, I guess, conference tournament, play our best games, our best innings in that sense. So kind of work towards there. Every game is just, you know, just as important as the championship game, if that's our end goal, that kind of thing. So,
right, right. And with you having been here for the last 4 years, I'm sure it's become sort of routine for you to be able to go back home and for them to come over here. Do you get to see very much of your parents?
Yeah, for the most part. My sister also plays college softball at Carroll College in Helena, so they kind of go back and forth. They'll go to Helena one weekend, Dickinson here. It just kind of depends. So yeah, I get to see them a decent amount for sure.
Well, too, whenever you come from Montana, whenever you come from North Dakota, you're used to driving all over creation anyway to go do things. What are your parents' names and your sister's name, please?
My dad's name is Bubba. My mom's name is Trish, and then my sister's name is Kennedy. So,
Kennedy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And my parents are educators. My dad's a middle school counselor. My mom's a third grade teacher, and then my sister's going into elementary education, and then I'm PE, so kind of just runs in the blood.
Okay. Well, then too, once you become an athlete, and once you become into sports, there's really no going back.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? And so with your time being here in the community, you probably spend a lot more time here. You can't always go back home. Have you developed a little niche here? Do you feel like not only are you part of the community, but the community is part of you?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I would say probably in the public schools more than anything, just kind of getting some field experience with my education program. Student teaching, I was lucky enough this last fall to coach middle school basketball. So kind of getting to know some of those kids out there, kids in the high school, some of those teachers. I would definitely say in the teacher community, it's been nice to kind of build and develop relationships within some of those people. They've been really, really great to me. So.
Well, I would think too that with that access and being so close to them and getting that familiarity with them, then it becomes an easier transition in the event that you do decide to start working here in this area and decide to stay here, that you've already got that familiarity with the schools.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been nice to kind of, like I said, just have those connections, being able to kind of rely on those people. I'm a substitute teacher as well, so kind of pick up jobs here and there. So getting to know some of those other members in the schools and teachers, that kind of thing. So kind of trying to be well-rounded in all departments in that sense. So
understood. And you've grown up to a certain degree here in town, gone from being a teenager to being a young adult woman. And have you had a chance to have some fun along the way?
I'd say so, yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of my friends are here. Some of my friends from Billings came to Dickinson to play softball as well. So it's been nice to kind of have those connections from back home as well, but also build connections with my teammates and that kind of thing too. So yeah, it's for sure. And
we were talking earlier about the driving and all that kind of thing and road trips, and I had asked Cooper as well, what is your favorite part of road trips?
Oh goodness. I'd probably say our meals, because when we're on the bus, we're all kind of like glued to our phones or our laptops. Coach Fleury has a rule where we can't have our phones during meals. So it's kind of nice to just actually like connect and have a real conversation with the people next to you, whether or not it's like somebody you're really, really close to on the team or it's my roommate, that kind of thing. I would probably say our meals for sure. I feel like I kind of get a little bit closer to my teammates in that sense. So.
And it seems too, here at this college, that you have a cohesive unit not only of your own teammates on the softball team, but you all get along seemingly throughout athletics and support one another. Is that not true?
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. A lot of the teams are pretty good friends with each other. I would say baseball and softball are pretty close. I mean, similar schedule and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I feel like we're all pretty interconnected, supporting one another, going to each other's games, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of fun.
I can tell you as a sports writer, the very first time that I went to cover a fast pitch softball game, I didn't know what to expect and had always covered baseball and been more familiar with that sport, having played it whenever I grew up. But I was a fan from the jump. The games go so quick. And if you've got a lights out pitcher, you're going to be in and out of that sucker faster than you can watch a sitcom sometimes. You know what I mean?
100%.
And so that part of the game and the speed and the style of it is so much different from whenever I was growing up. Because back in the 1980s, they had slow pitch softball. That was actually a high school level sport. Since they switched over to fast pitch, it's just taken on a life of its own. And I see good things coming from the sport on a professional level or a semi-professional level, Northwoods League, things like that.
Yeah.
Are there any interest for that on your part, to continue playing the game in that kind of capacity?
You know, I would kind of say it's up in the air right now. With this being like my 5th year, last year as like I guess a true senior in that sense, it was kind of a difficult decision to whether or not I wanted to continue playing on. But like my deep root of like wanting to play softball kind of drove me back to, you know what, I'll play my 5th year, that kind of thing. So I'm not really sure yet. I'm not really sure how much my body can take either, but
Right.
that kind of
Well,
thing.
do you feel like you want to do it while you can?
Yeah, but I would say so, probably. Yeah, while I'm feeling good, that kind of thing.
And what would you say is the best part of your game while we continue the conversation about the being in the field or being at bat? Which one do you think you prefer more?
Ooh. Lately, I would say probably defense. I've been
Okay.
struggling a little bit hitting, but
Have you?
yeah, I have been.
Okay.
Just kind of working on that a little bit more of the mental game. I don't
Right.
know, both can be, it's tough. Like I said, it is a mental game, so both can be on or off, but if you're off on one aspect, I always think you got to be 110 on the other end. Like if I'm not hitting well, then I'm going to do everything I can to be the best defensive player out there, back up every base, that kind of thing. Hitting, make sure I'm moving runners. I mean, trying to get kids in scoring position, that kind of thing. So it just kind of depends, I would say, on the day for sure. So
Well, a slump works obviously the exact opposite of a streak.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've found personally was you can't respect either.
yeah,
You just have to take them as they come, right?
I would agree completely.
Eventually, the slump is going to be over. You have plenty of time left in the
Yeah,
season
I know, it is
to work
early.
on it. Going back to what you were saying earlier about Coach Fleury and her having requirements for you to all connect and all that whenever you're having meals, I would think that Coach Fleury has been an important part
Yeah.
of your development.
100%, yes. I built a really good relationship with her over the past few years. She's definitely somebody I go to whenever I need to truthfully talk about anything, whether it's softball, school, or just myself. She's just a really good listener, and at the end of the day, like if I needed something, I know I could call her and honestly really count on her. So I really appreciate that.
Yep. I've seen nothing but professionalism out of all the coaches here, Coach Dahl and Coach Fleury on the diamond side of things, and Coach Stanton and Larson and Selby. All the coaches here I've met have just been fantastic. And this environment, being as nurturing as it is probably the kind of thing that makes you want to stick around for a little bit too, because it seems like everybody is so close and nobody gets in each other's way, and there's no personality clashes. That's those are things I have not seen nor heard about since
Yeah.
I've been covering sports here.
No, for sure. I definitely feel like it's a tight-knit group, and I feel like all the coaches kind of have an end goal of just kind of building that person more than the athlete at the end of the day,
Right.
which is huge, especially with the stress of being a college athlete, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's pretty cool to see, I would say.
Well, having already graduated, what do you think is going to be the best part of getting out on your own and being able to break free of the college environment and move into, for lack of a better term, adulthood? What is it you're most looking forward to on that side of things now that you have reached this point?
Yeah, I would say just trying new things and seeing those successes, seeing those failures, learning from those failures in all aspects. I would just say kind of putting myself out there a little bit more than being in Dickinson in everything, I would say. So.
Right. Do you get a chance to go out and meet with people in the community? Do you have a favorite spot you like to go to in the community?
Like to eat
Restaurant,
or just like hang out?
having fun, going out, whatever?
That's tough. I would say probably Blue 42 is my favorite place to go eat.
Okay.
We go to Fat Fish. I live like pretty close to Fat Fish. We'll go over there and hang out. A lot of our friends work there, so most of the time we'll just go hang out over there and meet up, that kind of thing. So.
Right. Well, I'm sure you've already been used to the cold weather, being from Montana and everything, but how forward are you looking to being able to get back out there on the diamond with all that snow? It's not going to be melting anytime through March, I'm going to assume.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you're probably looking forward to just being able to be at home for a little while, right?
I agree. Yes, for sure. I've been checking the weather pretty much every morning just to kind of see if we can get some high 30s, low 40s. I mean, just those kinds of things, just to get out there and take
Right.
some reps and be together. And I mean, as tough as it is, it's difficult to kind of simulate some game-like stuff in the gym here.
Sure.
But I mean, at the end of the day, we get it done. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to being outside.
And where are y'all headed to next?
Where are we going to? Sioux Center this weekend.
Center?
Yep.
Okay. What kind of things do you think this team is capable of? I alluded to you guys being on the verge of something. What kind of hopes do you have for the season?
I'd say the sky's the limit. I mean,
Okay.
I really do think this last weekend it was a good showing for us for sure. But every weekend is a new weekend, that kind of thing. So I think if we just keep moving forward and having goals for ourselves every week, that's what's going to be huge for us, and trying to move past those goals and then reaching more goals, that kind of thing. So
I agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for good things out of you all this year. Well, folks, I've been sitting here with Cassidy Venner, and she has taken her time to sit down and talk with me during this segment of Behind the Jersey. And Cassidy, I always give people an opportunity to say anything that I might not have asked or something you might have on your mind. So if you have anything you want to add to the conversations, please do.
Gosh, I just want to say thank you, and I'm grateful for this opportunity and appreciate your willingness to do this with the athletes here at DSU. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt. It's absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah.
And folks, this has been a lot of fun so far. I've enjoyed all four of the opening installments of this. We're trying to get these out. We'll get one out this evening, and then we try to get one out tomorrow. I'm working with Sagan and Jackson, and we're trying to make sure that we get them out to you as soon as possible, and so you can see these folks, and so you can get to know them, at least in the brief way that I've gotten to know them, and find out a little bit more about them personally. And so, folks, this is Behind the Jersey, and I appreciate you tuning in and taking some time to be with us today. So for Cassidy, Venner, Cooper, my co-worker Jacob Charis, Sagan Osborne Jackson, and everybody here at DSU, I certainly appreciate your time. Take care and have a wonderful week, and get out there and watch some softball and baseball when you get a chance.